Okay, Prabhus. So we are in this chapter number 6, and just let us just see what we have seen, what we are into which section we are into right now. So you see, sixth chapter, that is the Dhyan Yoga. The first 9 verses were talking about the how one can rise from the uh, Arurushu stage to the Aruda stage. No, Arurushu means the beginning stage, and Aruda means the perfectional stage. So, now what is the perfectional stage of the Ashtanga Yoga and how one can rise to that? That was mentioned in the first 9 shlokas. And then in this section, shloka number 10 to 32, now again, there's a mention about the different stages and how a yogi can how a yogi can reach to the perfection from the beginning stage to the perfectional stage. So in the shloka number 10 to 17, again, it was there, how one should begin the yoga. One should go to the forest, one should sit on the kusha grass, one should try to meditate, one should try to focus one's mind upon the tip of the nose. So likewise, we'll find, so the practices were there, 10 to 17. Now, how one should begin from the beginning and how one can rise to the highest level. Again, 18 to 13, 18 to 23, again, there's a mention about how one should begin and then how, what is the perfection of the Ashtanga Yoga. You know. So that was what we discussed in 18 to 23. And now we are into the section of shloka number 24 to 32, you know, where the ultimate, see, the ultimate realization of Ashtanga Yogi is the realization of the Paramatma. You know, Ashtanga Yoga can help you, the Dhyan Yoga. The purpose of the Dhyan Yoga is to be able to ultimately concentrate your mind, focus your mind upon what? Upon the Paramatma. The highest thing which a Ashtanga Yogi will be able to achieve is the darshan of the Paramatma, the 400 Vishnu form, Shirokshi Vishnu form, within the heart. So in this section 24 to 32 now, uh, there's a mention about it how a yogi is able to eventually rise to this platform of being able to see the Paramatma in the heart. So just to have some background, you see, now see, see now how there is a progress of the Ashtanga Yogi. You see, initially a person is having a lot of material desires, material thoughts. Okay, so the beginning of the Ashtanga Yoga is what a person tries to practice these 8 limbs. Now, which begins with yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, है ना? So all these things and pratyahar. So these are the mechanical ways. These are the mechanical ways. Also, these are the practices by which a person is able to gradually detach one's mind from or detach one's consciousness from the external world, from the external sense objects. Because see, if you have to be able to focus within, then first of all you have to detach yourself from the realities of from the external realities, most of which are centered around sense gratification of the senses. Okay, तो see, देखिए कैसे प्रोग्रेस होता है ना. Initially a person is taking to this yama, niyama, asana, pranayam. They help a person to be able to have a control of the senses, to have the control of the mind. And basically that is at the level of a person is no more a person is no more thinking about the sense gratification. This is the basic thing. That's how initially it's more about detaching oneself from the external sense objects. Okay, this is the beginning stage. And then second level is one starts focusing upon one's own real self, which is the atma. One uh, uh, once the mind. Haribol, Sandeep, you please mute yourself. So initially, one is trying to withdraw from the external sense objects, and then what is there, and then slowly one can start focusing one's mind upon the Atma. There's a second level, where a person starts, focusing upon the real self, the Atma within. Okay, this is the next level. Okay, and then at that level, the further progress is what? Further progress is that he's able to see that how he's not this mortal body, he's not a material body. He's a soul seated in the body, and he's a part of the Brahman. He's a part of the Brahman. If his understanding is only up to the Brahma Jyoti, then what will be there? He will be understanding that how I'm a part and parcel of the Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti. and my ultimate goal is to be able to merge into the Brahma Jyoti. And all other things around me are basically the manifestation of that Brahma Jyoti. They are the illusory manifestations of the Brahma Jyoti around me. Right? So this is the level of realization of a yogi. Okay. And now suppose if the Ashtanga yogi, progresses further. Suppose, see, देखिए, हर एक योगा में ना, they have to follow some guru. Sandeep Prabhu, you have not muted yourself yet. Sandeep Prabhu, temple. आपका आवाज नॉइज आ रहा है, प्लीज म्यूट योरसेल्फ, और सम होस्ट कैन डू दैट. संदीप, आप सुन पा रहे हो?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, हरे
हाँ, हो गया, म्यूट हो गया अभी में. इट्स डिस्टर्बिंग ना. वेयर आई वाज, क्या बताया, एनीवन कैन टेल?
Yogis
Yogis
have to follow
versus
Guru.
Guru is there has to be a
वन
guru.
वन
गुरु जी.
1%, 1%.
Prabhuji, you were saying that yogis have to follow some Guru.
हाँ, आई वाज टेलिंग दैट, यू सी, इन एवरी पाथ ऑफ योगा देयर ना वन हैज टू फॉलो द गुरु. गुरु, तद विद्धि प्रणिपातेन न परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेशन्ति ते ज्ञानम ज्ञानिनस् तत्त्वदर्शिनः. So only if somebody follows a guru, then only one can get the proper realizations. So now, so the thing is, so somebody may follow a jnani guru, somebody may follow a yogi guru. Now see, so even to advance in the Ashtanga yoga, you have to follow a guru. Now, based upon what is the realization of your guru. Suppose your guru knows only till Brahma Jyoti. Only he knows only about the aspect of the Brahma Jyoti. Then he will help you with the practices, and he will tell you to focus upon the Brahman, and to focus upon merging into the Brahma Jyoti, right? So you practice with that goal. This is what happens. Now suppose if you are following a Ashtanga Yogi guru, now who has realization of seeing a Paramatma within the heart, then he will guide you for the practices in a way which will help you to be able to have darshan of the Paramatma within the heart. Okay. So this is how the difference comes. So if the yogi, if the Ashtanga yogi is having if he is having a guru who has Brahman realization, then he will also aspire for Brahman realization. So in that case, what will happen? By withdrawing his consciousness, at most he will be able to just have realization that I am the part of the Brahma Jyoti. I'm a Brahman. I'm a supreme soul. I'm a soul. I'm a soul, and I'm a part and parcel of the Brahma Jyoti. That's maximum realization which he can get. And suppose if he's following a Ashtanga Yogi guru who has realization of the Paramatma, who has seen Paramatma within his heart, then if he follows him, then he will also aspire for seeing Paramatma within the heart, and then he can also see the Paramatma within the heart by his practices. Okay. So this is what happens. This is what makes a difference, for the Ashtanga Yogi. So in general, for the maximum thing which Ashtanga Yogi may aspire is for the Paramatma darshan, for the darshan of the Paramatma within the heart. And once one sees Paramatma is very attractive. He become devoted to the Paramatma. And such a person, he can also get into spiritual world because he is attracted by the Paramatma, the Vishnu Murti of the Lord. So he can go to one of the Vaikuntha planets, and he will be into Shantaras. And he will be participating in the spiritual world in the Shantarasa, because he has fascination and the attraction for the form of the Lord, for the beauty of the Lord. So he will not have active participation in the Leelas of the Lord, but he will have, he will, he can be like, the devotees on the Shantaras in the spiritual world, like there are trees, there are mountains, all these things, the forest. So these are all in the Shantarasa, in the spiritual world. Okay. So this is some initial background, which just wanted to tell you. So we were into this series of shlokas 24 to 32, and 24 to 26 were the methods to attain the Yogaruda stage and the success formula for bringing the mind back. Right? I will just take you to the verse. Yeah. You see, the 24th and 25th, there was a mention about what are the methods by which one can attain to the perfectional stage. One has to be very determined. One has to have one's mind without deviation. One should be able to give up all the kama. One should be able to control all the stages, all the senses on all the sides. So these are the methods. And then what will happen? Shane shaner upanamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma samstam manah kritva na kinchid api chintayet. So gradually what will happen? One will be able to come to the point where one will be able to have atma samstham, when one will be able to have full focus and concentration upon one's own self. One's mind, one's consciousness will be will be soaked into one's own self, into the thought of being a part of the Brahman, and he will have no kinchidapi chintet. He will have no more thinking about other things. This is the this is the level, which one will come to. And now 26 shloka was about now the mind or the consciousness may want to go here and there. Now one may not be able to always keep one's consciousness absorbed into the thought of oneself. Oneself means that I am the soul, I am a part of the Brahma Jyoti. So then Krishna told in the 26th shloka that how one has to practice to again bring the mind back, again bring the consciousness back. The consciousness or the mind may want to wander here and there, towards the external things, but again one has to try to bring it back and again focus upon one's own self, the soul within. So that was the 26th shloka. And now see 27th shloka also we saw last time. So see 27, 20 shlokas are very nice, very important, you see. So see now what is the link? When one will endeavor to bring the mind in this way, yato hi nischalti manas chanchalam astiram, So when one will try to withdraw one's mind, one's consciousness again and again, into one own self, or basically one will again and again realize that, no, I have nothing to do with the sense gratification, I am the supreme, I am the part of the Brahma Jyoti, I am a soul, matter will not give me enjoyment. So when one tries to advance in this meditation, this consciousness, so then what will happen? Then what is going to happen? Then he will be able to have a experience. He will have an experience of the bliss of the samadhi. है See, endeavoring to bring back the mind in this way, the yogi will again experience the bliss of the samadhi and will come to the stage of Brahma Bhuta, or realizing the Atma and the Paramatma, right? So what is the meaning of Brahma Bhuta? Brahma Bhuta is the stage when one realizes that I am not material body, I have nothing to do with the material world, I am simply a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Brahman. That's what is the Brahma Bhuta platform, okay? And above it is what? One realizes that actually there's a Paramatma who is the supreme, and I'm a servant of the Paramatma. That's the second level of realization, okay? So see, so 27th and 28th shlokas are talking about that how one comes to the platform of the Brahman, one comes to the one comes to have full realization of the Atma. Atma means soul. That is 27th shloka. And 28th shloka is further, a yogi may also be able to advance up to the point of realizing Paramatma within the heart. That is the theme of the 28th shloka. Okay. So you see one important thing, see samadhi, when we say samadhi. So what is the samadhi for a yogi? The samadhi is also at different levels, So initially the samadhi will be more of a that one's mind is now no more thinking about the external sense objects. That is also one kind of samadhi for a yogi. That he's now the consciousness is no more thinking about the external sense objects. Now the consciousness is fixed upon something, the mind is fixed upon either the tip of the nose or some object, now his meditation, his focus is on something other than the external sense objects and the sense gratification. This is one level of the samadhi. Okay, now what is next level of samadhi? No, next level of samadhi is the Brahman realization, that one realizes that I am the soul. One is able to have absorption that I have nothing to do with the matter. I am a soul. No, I am Sachidananda. I am a part and parcel of the Brahma Jyoti. That's another level of realization. That's also another level of samadhi, that one is absorbed. See, samadhi means absorption of the consciousness. So one level of absorption of the consciousness is there's a detachment from the external world. That is also one kind of absorption. Second level of absorption is one has absorption into one's own real identity as a soul. That is also another level of samadhi. And then the highest level achievable for the yogi is what? When he understands the Paramatma within the heart, when he has access of Paramatma within the heart, So when one is by his meditation, when one becomes more elevated, then one can see the Paramatma within one's heart. And that is also and when one is constantly just absorbed into the Paramatma, one is just taking darshan of the Paramatma, na, uh, uh, enchanted by the beauty of the Paramatma, then he's able to always see the Paramatma within the heart, his own heart as well as the heart of the other beings. So that is also another way of that is also the highest level of samadhi achievable by a strong yogi. That's the point. Okay. So let us come to the 27 shloka, and again just will show you the 27 shloka. So let us see. is seventh shloka. Yes. So the 27th shloka was, Prashant mansam hi enam yoginam sukham uttamam upeti shant rajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. No, what happens is, when one advances in one's concentration, then, he's having brahma bhutam. One comes to the platform of the brahma bhuta. Means what? One gets full realization that I am a soul. I am a part and parcel of the Brahma Jyoti. And in that state, there's no more passion, rajasam. There's no more passion, there are no more material desires. And what happens is one becomes prashanta manasam. The mind becomes extremely peaceful, and one is freed from all kinds of kalmasha. Kalmasha means all kinds of sins. There are no more material desires, there are no more sinful desires, and one is not acting upon any of them. So he has no reactions also. So this verse is talking about how a yogi has come to the realization of the Brahman, Brahman, that I'm a part of the Brahma Jyoti. I'm a Brahman, I'm non-different from the Brahma Jyoti. This verse was talking about this. So this we discussed last time. Right? Again, just to see the translation. See Baldev Vidya Bhushan translation. Supreme bliss comes to the yogi with mind fixed on the soul. See, supreme bliss comes to that yogi with mind fixed on the soul. See, Brahma Bhuta, soul पे fix हो गया उसका consciousness. Now he becomes devoid of the passion, free of the desires, and then directly experiences the Atma. Atma means the soul. He realizes that I am the Atma. He's having experience of the Atma. That's the point. Okay. Now see 28th shloka. This is where we have to begin today. Yeah. युञ्जन् एवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मष सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते. Right? See what is there? Yogi vigata kalmasham. Sukhena brahma samsparsham. See, the word here is very important. It's brahma samsparsham. Brahma samsparsham. See, Prabhupada is writing it as, being in touch, being in the constant touch with the Supreme. Brahma ka sparsh pana. Right? Brahma ka sparsh pana. Which means what? Constantly touch में रहना. तो देखिए, one of the ways is, when the yogi has come to the point of seeing the Paramatma within the heart, then what happens, he is able to see Paramatma always. Since that time, once a yogi has reached to the level that he has got access of the Paramatma in the heart, then onwards he will be able to see Paramatma within the heart. So here this Brahma Sparsham is mainly talking about the yogi's realization of the Paramatma, the four-handed Vishnu form within the heart. Okay. And same way, engagement into devotional service, like for a bhakti yogi. Now, we also have a Brahma Samsparsham. How? How we are touching the Supreme Lord? We touch the Supreme Lord by the means of devotional service, because devotional service is the means by which we remain in touch with Krishna by serving him, with love. So that is how it translates for a bhakti yogi, some. But here in this context, so he gets Brahma Samsparsham, So, Yunjan evam sadatmanam, yogi vigata kalmasha, kalmasha means contaminations. So, and as the yogi proceeds in this particular manner, है ना, he becomes freed from all kinds of impurities, and then he gets supreme bliss. He gets supreme bliss by what? Because of the darshan of the Paramatma, Brahma Samsparsha, because of the darshan of the Paramatma within the heart. Atyantam sukham ashnote, he gets extreme, great happiness because of that darshan of the Paramatma. See? Thus, the self-controlled yogi constantly engaged in the yoga practice becomes free from all the material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. Of course, so see, for a yogi also to see the form of the Lord in the heart and to appreciate the beauty of the Lord is also a form of devotional service. See, devotional service means loving and serving Krishna, having appreciation for Krishna. So in that way, for a yogi also, because he's having darshan of the Paramatma, he's having adoration for that Paramatma. That's also devotional service. So in that way, he derives great happiness. You see, Baldev Vidyabhushan says, thus constantly experiencing Atma, the yogi, free of all the sin, easily attains the unlimited bliss of experiencing the Paramatma. Right? So he gets experience of the Paramatma. And because of the darshan of the Paramatma, he feels great happiness, transcendental happiness. See? So this is, Baldev Vidyabhushan's purport, after directly realizing his own Atma, he then directly realizes the Paramatma, right? So this is confirming that how here Brahmasparsha means realization of the Paramatma. So yogi initially he initially he has realized the Atma. The next level is now he will be able to realize the Paramatma within the heart. Experiencing his own Atma by the yoga method described above, Atmanam Yunjan, with all the faults burned up by this method, Vigata Kalmasha, the yogi easily, Sukhena, attains the unlimited happiness, Sukham, the realization of the Paramatma, that is Brahmasparsham. Okay, so this confirms about that. It talks about the Paramatma realization. Okay, so this was verse number 28. Now see, now, next next series of the verses is what? Once a person comes to this level that he is able to have access of the Paramatma, now he has full realization of the Atma and full realization of the Paramatma, he's having access to the Paramatma. Then what is the vision of such kind of the yogi? That is described in the next two shlokas, 29 and 30. That how does such a Paramatma realized yogi sees the things? What is the vision of him? He's telling 29 shloka. सर्वभूतस्थम् आत्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि इक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः. Right? सर्वभूतस्थम् स्थम atmanam. See here the atmanam refers to the super soul. So he sees that how sarvabhutam stham. He sees that how in everyone's heart this super soul, the Paramatma, is residing. सबके हृदय में परमात्मा विराजमान है, उसको दिखाई देता है, क्योंकि अपने हार्ट में भी देख पा रहा है, बाकियों में भी देख पाएगा वो, हर एक लिविंग एंटिटी में, हर एक एटम में इंडेड, एंड तो सर्वभूतस्थम आत्मानम, दैट हाउ द सुपर सोल इज इन एवरीवन्स हार्ट, एंड सर्वभूतानि च आत्मनि, एंड एवरीवन इज आल्सो इन द परमात्मा. हाउ एवरीवन इज, how ultimately everything is also in Paramatma. Because see, ultimately everything is coming from Lord only, right? So he's able to see Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani, that how in the same Paramatma, all the jivas are also in the same Paramatma. Okay. Ikshate Yoga Yukta Atma. Ikshate means he sees. Such a yogi who has become Yukta, who has got access to the Paramatma, he's able to see all these things. And Sarvatra Samadarshana. He's able to see equally everywhere. Equally everywhere means what? He's able to see equally, he's able to see that how there's Paramatma equally in everywhere. So this is what he says. A true yogi observes me in all the beings and also sees every being in me. Okay. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. He's able to see it how the same Lord is everywhere. Okay. See Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's translation. The yogi whose consciousness has become Brahman. The yogi whose consciousness has become Brahman realizes the Paramatma as the indweller of all the living entities and as a resting place of all the living entities. Okay. So he sees it how this Paramatma pervading in everyone's heart, and also how all the jivas are also in the Paramatma. They're also in the Lord ultimately. And that's why he sees everything as a Paramatma, because he sees that how there's a manifestation of Paramatma everywhere. That's how it is there. So the Prabhupada's purport. Uh, read the blue part, any of you?
The
The
perfect
perfect
yogi
yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by his presence in either a dog or a Brahmana. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in all hearts. That is the distinction between the individual soul and the super soul. One who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see so
Uh,
clearly.
yes. So he sees that how the Lord is distributed in everyone's heart, without any discrimination. So either the body of a dog or a Brahmana, everywhere Lord is present. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situations according to the results of fruitive work, in all circumstances remain the servants of God. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. In either case, the living entity is the servant of God. This vision of equality is perfect in a person in Krishna consciousness.
So one is able to see that how ultimately everyone is a children of God, servant of God, and how based on one's activities, one is placed into different situations, different bodies. Okay, that is the meaning of the he is able to see everything uh, in that way. Okay. See next again, 30th shloka. It further talks about what is the vision of such a perfect yogi. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. Yeah. See, yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati, right? Now, mam means me. Me means what? Paramatma. है ना? Pashyati sarvatra, Now, such kind of yogi who is able to see me, who is able to see the Paramatma everywhere, and also how sarvam cha mai pashyati, and is able to see that how I am there everywhere, and I in the form of the Paramatma is also pervading everywhere, Tasya tasya aham na pranashyami. For such a yogi, na, and I am never lost. For such a yogi, I am never lost, and such a mena pranashyati, and nor is he ever lost to me. No, देखिए इसका क्या मतलब? For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Okay. So what is the meaning? Let us see it. Prabhupada is explaining. No. See, read this. No. Vishwanath Thakur is purport. The result of this spiritual realization is stated. I, the Brahman, never become invisible to that person, na pranashyami. Since I am continually present before him, the yogi, my worshipper, is never lost to me. Okay. Baldev Vidyabhushan says, I see, expanding on the previous verse, this verse then explains the result for one who can see in the way described above. One who is able to see Paramatma everywhere. So what will be the result? I, Paramatma, do not become invisible to that yogi. Na pranashyami. So what happens is, once one has come to the level of seeing the Paramatma in the hearts, then he will be able to see that afterwards. It's not that that vision is going to get lost. No, he will be able to see Paramatma everywhere, in everything, and sarvatra. And that yogi also does not become invisible to me. We both see each other at all the times. So what happens? He is able to see the Paramatma, and the Paramatma is also watching him always, that way. So in that way, see, since I am continually present before him, the yogi, my worshipper, is never lost to me, right? Which means what? Basically, one is having 24 hours access to the Lord. Once one comes to this stage, he's able to see everywhere, that how the Lord is pervaded everywhere, and so in that way, he never loses the sight of the Lord, and the Lord also never loses the sight of him. That's what this verse talks about. Let's read Prabhupada purpose. Please read.
A
A
person in
person in Krishna consciousness, a person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna,
Yeah. आगे बढ़
certainly
जाना. Please.
certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance, he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that Krishna is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for a devotee and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risk.
You see here, Prabhupada is, so one thing is how one sees that how everything is the manifestation of the Krishna's energy, right? So everything is Krishna's energy. One is able to see, Krishna says, no, Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayo, Khamano, Buddhirevacha, that how everything is my energy. So once one is awakened to this state, so see, for a devotee, how does it translate? Now, for a yogi, he is able to see Paramatma everywhere. Now, for a bhakti yogi, we see it as the energy of Krishna, that how everything is the energy of Krishna. We are able to see in relationship with Krishna. That's how it's the vision. So see now, at this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna. So what is the meaning of a devotee becoming one with Krishna? In the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in the loving. Devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. So this is the meaning of oneness with Krishna, which means what? A devotee knows nothing except Krishna. And for such kind of devotee, Krishna also just want to, fulfill the desire of that devotee. Krishna also loves that devotee. So that is a oneness for us, that how we become fully in cooperation with the desires of the Lord, which is ultimately to that we Lord desires that we serve Him and we love Him, right? So this is the meaning, that how do we become one with the Lord? That that how, you know, that Krishna becomes everything for a devotee. He does not think of anything else. So such kind of intimate relationship exists between the Lord and the devotee. And yeah, please read at this stage.
At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself.
So yogi is also able to see everywhere, the Paramatma. And that's what happens. So these were the two verses about what is the vision of such a yogi, one who has come to the realization of the Paramatma, that how he's able to see Paramatma everywhere. Now he's able to see that how everything is also residing in the Paramatma, and how and for him the Paramatma, the sight of the Paramatma is never lost, and he's also always under the sight of the Paramatma. That's how it translates. Okay. So now, next series of the verses, 31 and 32 shlokas, they are talking about what are the actions of such a perfect yogi. Now, what are his actions? Okay, 30th shloka. Sarvabhuta sthitham yo mam bhajati ekatvam asthita sarvatha vartamanopi sa yogi mai vartate. Right? So, what are the activities of such a yogi? Just a minute. Take it on one page. Yeah. Right. सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजति एकत्वम् आस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते. Right? uh, Sarvabhutassthitam, right? Situated in everyone's heart. Yo mam, uh, one who is able to see, such a yogi who is able to see that how I'm in everyone's heart. I'm the Paramatma who is there in everyone's heart. Bhajati, he starts worshipping me. He starts worshipping me. Bhajati ekatvam astitah. He starts worshipping me in oneness. Sarvatha vartamanopi sa yogi mai vartate. See, I think we can better. Prabhupada's translation. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all the circumstances. Sarvatha varta manopi sa yogi mai vartate, right? So such a yogi, what is his action? He always remains in me. That is what is being mentioned. See, Vishwanath Thakur says, the yogi who worships me as the one living being, who is the cause of the all, exist in me no matter what his manner of worship. Baldev Vidyabhushan says, the yogi who meditates on me as one, though situated in all the entities, exists in me no matter whether he performs prescribed duties or not. Right? Basically, this verse is talking about what, once a person understands the Paramatma within the heart, then he is able to see that. One thing he is able to see that how? Uh, Ekatvam. See, here Ekatvam means what? Uh, although there are different Paramatmas in everyone's heart, but ultimately all of them are one. There is only one Paramatma who is pervading everywhere in everyone's heart. This is called as the Ekatvam. So such a yogi is able to see that how there is only one Paramatma in everyone's heart. This is one. See, the yogi who meditates on me as one, though situated in all the entities. Although he sees everywhere, but he knows that this is the same Paramatma. There is only one Paramatma. Because of such kind of vision, what will happen? He'll always exist in me no matter whether he performs the prescribed duties or not. So what, irrespective of whatever actions he may perform, what will happen? Because he's able to see the Paramatma everywhere, and he understands that this is the same Paramatma. So what happens is, you know, he will be always, he will be always be able to see the Paramatma, and seeing the Paramatma, appreciating the beauty of the Paramatma is devotional service. So then what will happen? In that way, he will be always engaged into the service of the Paramatma, service of the super soul. Huh. Irrespective of external, which means what, he may be going for eating, he may be going for sleeping also. But still, in all those activities, he understands that these are all the activities of the body. He will have 24 absorption into the Paramatma. And because he's having 24-hour absorption into the Paramatma, he's always into devotional service. That's what it says. So, Prabhupada's purpose, please read.
A yogi who is practicing meditation on the super soul sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu, with four hands, holding conch shell, wheel club, and lotus flower. The yogi should know that Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna, in this form of super soul, is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable super souls present in the innumerable hearts of living entities. Nor is there a difference between a Krishna conscious person, all Krishna conscious person always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, and a perfect yogi engaged in the meditation of the super soul. The yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in material existence, remains always situated in Krishna.
So the same thing, right? So this is ekatvam. Ekatvam means what? Now he is able to see that how there's no difference between the innumerable super souls present in the innumerable hearts of the living entities. That's the he sees that how they are all one, and uh, and because of such kind of vision, he's always into devotional service. Even though he's engaged into various kinds of activities. So that's what. It's just like for a devotee also. Because the devotee is conscious of Krishna, he may be into different activities, but his remembrance of Krishna is not lost. Now, he do everything in relationship with Krishna, and in that way he's always mukta. He's always liberated. That's what it says. So there are some other quotations in the other shastras about how the same Lord is there. Matsya Purana it says, you see, although the Lord is one, he is present in innumerable hearts as many. Same with other shastras also. Again, this is another quotation from this Matsya Purana. Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere, as the sun appears in many places at once. Right? So example is given. Just like one may be into Europe, one may be into America, one may be into Africa, one may be into South America, but all of them are able to they're able to see the sun, no? And many people are able to see simultaneously also. So the same sun is being seen simultaneously. Same way, the same Paramatma is pervaded everywhere. That is what is being mentioned. This was 31 shloka, okay? And then another second 32nd shloka. Again, what are the further actions? So the 31 was telling that how such a yogi, he's always able to meditate upon the Paramatma, and even while doing different activities, also his absorption, his meditation is not lost. No, his devotional service in the form of meditation upon the Paramatma continues amidst all kinds of performance of different activities. Okay. Now 37 shloka again. What are the further activities of such a yogi? It says आत्मोपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति यो अर्जुन सुखम वा यदि वा दुःखम स योगी परमो मतः. This is very good. This is very important. स योगी परमो मतः. Right? परमो मतः. मतः means my this is my मतः. This is my opinion. वो योगी सबसे ग्रेटेस्ट माना जाएगा. किसको किसको ग्रेटेस्ट माना जाएगा? बताया गया, देखिए, समम पश्यति, जो समान रूप से देखता है, क्या? सुखम वा यदि वा दुखम. राइट? जो सुख और दुख, जो बाकी लोगों के जो सुख दुख होता है उसको, है ना, समान रूप से देखता है. मतलब वन इज एबल टू सी दैट हाउ ना हाउ वन इज एबल टू सी दैट हाउ व्हाट गिव्स मी हैप्पीनेस, है ना, also gives happiness to the other people, and what gives me distress also gives distress to the other people. ना, so one is able to see in this manner. Now such kind of the yogis is the supreme. He's the topmost. Krishna is telling like that. Now, see, is the perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all the beings. Now, in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna, right? So this, थोड़ा समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा. Let us see what, Baldev Vidyabhushan says. O Arjuna, I consider him to be the topmost yogi who sees everywhere, sarvatra, the happiness and the distress of others as his own. राइट? वो टॉप मोस्ट योगी बता रहे हैं भगवान, राइट? जो लाइक सी कंपैरिजन ना, अपने कंपैरिजन में मतलब क्या है कि वो समझता है कि देखो, जो चीजें मुझे दुख देती हैं दूसरों को भी दुख दे रही हैं ना. कौन सी चीजें जो मुझे दुख देती हैं, कैसे वो दूसरों को भी दुख देती हैं. जो चीजें मुझे सुख देती हैं, कैसे वो दूसरे लोगों को भी सुख देती हैं. इस तरीके से जो देख पाता है कि कैसे सी बेसिकली वन इज एबल टू सी दैट हाउ एवरीवन इज अ सोल, and what is giving happiness to me is also giving happiness to them. What is giving me pain is also going to give pain to them, like that. So that is the vision. That is the vision of such kind of a yogi, and he's the topmost yogi. That is what Krishna is mentioning here. हाँ, ठीक, थोड़ा ये पढ़ेंगे तो आपको ज्यादा क्लियर हो पाएगा. ठीक, read this. Vishwanath Thakur, this blue part. Vishwanath Thakur's purport is there. Please read. Moreover,
Moreover, it has been stated that even the yogi at the stage of sadhana should have equal vision everywhere. This verse explains the most important type of equal vision. He sees what is good for himself and what is bad for himself as equally applicable to all others. He desires happiness for all others and does not desire suffering for anyone. That yogi I consider the best.
yes. So जैसे कि इससे पहले भी श्लोकाज आए ना अबाउट इक्वल विजन, पंडिता समदर्शिना, है ना, व्हाट इज विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणे कवि हस्तिनी सुनी चेव स्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिना, तो देखिए इक्वल विजन मतलब हैविंग अ इक्वल विजन टुवर्ड्स all, right? Now, so see, one level of that is okay to be able to see that how everyone is souls, and based upon their karmas, they are placed into their different apartments, different bodies. This is one level of equal vision, okay? And the higher level of equal vision is what? That how one tries to do good for the others. One understand that how. See, this is what. So this is the second level of equal vision. That how one is not only able to see that how everyone is a soul, but one also desires to give happiness to all of them, and one desires to remove their distress. That is also that's the higher level of of equal vision. And that's what Krishna says, that such kind of a yogi who is able to see like this, he desires to give happiness to others, and he desires to remove the distress of the others. He is more dearer to me. He's the topmost you know, That's what Krishna is saying. He sees what is good for himself and what is bad for himself as equally applicable to all the others. He desires happiness for the others and does not desire suffering for anyone. That is the best. It's same. That's सर्व भूते हिते रता। See, इससे पहले भी आया था ये वाला पॉइंट ना, कि जो है ना, मतलब सबसे टॉपमोस्ट योगी कौन बताया जाएगा, इवन ज्ञान योगी भी, जो दूसरों के हित के लिए कार्य करता है, दैट इज मोर टॉपमोस्ट। राइट, इसको भी पढ़िए, बलदेव विद्याभूषण का बहुत अच्छा है, पढ़िए इसको भी। प्रीवियसली
Previously, the Lord said, Sarvabhuta Hitarata. The yogis are engaged in the welfare of all beings. Bhagavad Gita 5.25. This verse further elaborates the point. He sees in any circumstances both happiness and distress of others as if it were his own. As he desires happiness for himself, he desires happiness for others and no distress. I consider this yogi who is merciful to all, seeing others' happiness and distress as his own, to be the best. Though a person may be knowledgeable of the truth, if he see others unequal to himself, then he is not considered the best yogi.
या तो ये देखो इसका क्या मतलब है, राइट ना, ठीक है, कोई योगी है, he has come to the realization of the Paramatma also, he is able to see that how everyone is a soul accompanied by the Paramatma. But if he does not feel, if he does not feel to help them, then still he will be not very advanced. But a yogi who is able to see everyone is a soul, everyone is being accompanied by the Paramatma, and he wants to, he wants to help them, he wants to help them to get rid of the miseries, then such kind of the yogi is the best yogi. And that's what merciful, right? So in Prabhupada is telling about in Prabhupada is telling that how a devotee, he has compassion for the others, he feels compassion for the others, and that's why a devotee is the highest of the yogi. Please read Prabhupada's purport. One who is
One who is Krishna conscious. One who is Krishna conscious is a perfect yogi. He is aware of everyone's happiness and distress by dint of his own personal experience. The cause of the distress of a living entity is forgetfulness of his relationship with God. And the cause of happiness is knowing Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all the activities of human being, the proprietor of all lands and planets, and the sincerest friend of all the living entities. The perfect yogi knows that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of material nature is subjected to threefold material miseries due to forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. And because one is Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute the knowledge of Krishna everywhere. Since the perfect yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna conscious, he is the best philanthropist in the world, and he is the dearest servitor of the Lord. नाचा तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रिया कृतमः. Purport 18.69. In other words, a devotee of the Lord always looks to the welfare of all living entities. And in this way he is factually the friend of everyone. He is the best yogi because he does not desire perfection in yoga for his personal benefit, but tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living entities. Here is a contrast between the pure devotee of the Lord and a yogi interested only in his personal elevation. The yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as a devotee who is trying his best to turn every man towards Krishna consciousness.
This is the conclusion of the Gita, Earlier also, you find fifth chapter, Krishna was mentioning, even for a Gyan yogi, the mention was there that how, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rita, right? But that Gyan yogi who is engaged into the welfare of the other beings, he's a superior, he's topmost. Same in this chapter again, when the mention is coming about the Ashtanga yogi, Krishna is again mentioning that how Ashtang yogi who is not simply, who is not simply satisfied seeing the Paramatma and, having darshan of the, no, and just, he's meditating his own things. He is not the topmost one. The topmost one is who feels sympathy for the other people, who wants to spiritually help the other people. So that's why. So in Krishna consciousness, we are very fortunate that, see, Prabhupada used to say that ours is the highest philanthropic activity, highest social welfare work. Because see, this is what is the heart of the Krishna. You'll find, Krishna is expecting that, okay, you may be, you may have got elevated even to the point of realizing the Paramatma in everyone's heart, but you should be also interested to help the others. Then you will be considered as the topmost yogi by me. Otherwise, you are not. You know, that's the theme, that's the mood of Krishna. Because Krishna being a compassionate father, he'll do like that. So these two verses were talking about the activities of such a yogi, who has come to the platform of realizing the Paramatma. You know, the 30 and 32 were there right now. Now, what happened is now Arjuna is having question. Now, after hearing this, see, here the thing was that how uh, he is able to see everyone with an equal vision. Samam pashyati. Such a yogi, he should be able to have samam pashyati. He is able to see everyone equally, everybody equally. Which means what? He has no partiality. He feels the same way for everyone. He sees that how everyone is a soul, part and parcel of God. And he is accompanied by the Paramatma in the heart. So he is able to have an equal vision towards everyone. Uh, be it friends, some people may act in an inimical way, some may act as a well-wisher, but towards everyone he is able to see in an equal manner. And that kind of yogi. And he is able to think about everyone's welfare without discrimination based upon the way they are acting with him. If somebody is acting in an inimical way, then still a yogi is supposed to think to see them with an equal vision. To see them as a soul and with Paramatma, and not feel anything bad about them. You see, it's a very high level of consciousness, isn't it? So now, Arjuna, when he heard this, then he, no, then he told that Krishna, this is not possible. It looks to be very impractical. How can have such kind of equal vision? So that's what the next shloka is all about. Right? So I will first take you to this. See the conversation, what is happening. Yeah. See, this is 33rd shloka. Vishnu Chakra Thakur's comment. Please read this.
Arjuna speaks, I do not see the permanence
Okay. Okay.
of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Seeing that.
Seeing that it would be difficult to attain such equal vision, Arjuna speaks, I do not see the permanence of this yoga which has achieved equal vision. This yoga
थोड़ा
will
थोड़ा स्लो
not last.
थोड़ा 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 स्लो रेट पे थोड़ा स्लो रेट पे हाँ.
Arjuna speaks, I do not see the permanence of this yoga which has achieved equal vision. This yoga will not last forever. This state will last for 3 or 4 days. Why? Because the mind is unsteady. Chanchalavat, you spoke of seeing the happiness and distress of all living entities of the world as one's own happiness and distress. One can maintain such equal vision for friends or neutral persons, but it is not possible to maintain equal visions for enemies who wish to cause you harm. For those who you hate, for those who hate you or criticize you, it is not possible for me to see as equal at all times the happiness and distress of Yudhishthira and Duryodhana. Even if by intelligence you see equally the jiva, paramatma, pranas, senses, and bodily elements of oneself and one's enemies, that last only for 2 or 3 days, because the fickle mind is stronger than the discriminating intellect. One sees that the mind attached to the material enjoyment overcomes the intellect.
So see, this is the conversation happening between Arjuna and Krishna, right? So Arjuna is asking that, Are, you are telling about this equal vision, that okay, have an equal vision, no? Which means what? You should be able to see the happiness and the distress of your friends, your well-wishers and enemies equally. मतलब आपका कोई दुश्मन है, उसका भी जो दुख सुख है उसको भी आप है ना, उसके लिए भी आप फील करो. उसका दुख हो तो आपको भी दुख हो, और उसका सुख हो तो उसमें आपको भी सुख हो, दुश्मन के लिए भी। तो बोल रहे हैं कि ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल है, ठीक है, इस टाइप का थोड़ा तो ठीक है, हम अपने मन में वी अंडरस्टैंड इट, ओके, ही इज आल्सो सोल, ही इज आल्सो, परमात्मा इज देयर इन हिज हार्ट, एंड हाउ ही इज आल्सो रीपिंग द फ्रूट्स ऑफ हिज एक्शंस, राइट ना। ठीक है, वी कैन ट्राई टू होल्ड अवर इंटेलिजेंस विद दिस नॉलेज, बट इट विल नॉट गो फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, इट मे गो फॉर ओनली फॉर 3 or 4 days, isn't it? Why? Because the mind will overpower. Okay, intelligence may say that, okay, no, he's a part and parcel of God. Okay, he may have acted in some heinous way, he may be acting as my enemy, but still, ultimately he's a soul, the part and parcel of the God. But the mind will say, but the mind will, like, अरे दुश्मन है ना, लेकिन तुम्हारा भी तो बुरा किया, उसका अच्छा ही हुआ कि उसके साथ में बुरा होना चाहिए, राइट, बहुत अच्छा हुआ उसके साथ हो रहा है जो, राइट, क्योंकि मन इतना चंचल है, मन रहने नहीं देगा, माइंड विल ओवरकम द इंटेलेक्ट, राइट ना। तो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन आ रहा है। तो अर्जुन बोला है कि ना मुश्किल है, क्यों मुश्किल है, क्योंकि माइंड तो बहुत अनस्टेडी है, टू बी एबल टू होल्ड ऑन टू सच विजन, बिकॉज ये विजन के लिए कि आपको इंटेलिजेंस का, दिमाग का आपको चाहिए, सहारा चाहिए, राइट, दिमाग से समझना, या दिमाग से आपको इस पे फोकस करना है कि ही इज अ सोल accompanied by the Paramatma. He may be acting as my enemy. Still, I should be, I should be his well-wisher. I should try to be, I should be happy with his happiness. I should be, unhappy with his distress. It is very difficult. That's what Arjuna is saying. Why? Because the mind is very flickering. Right? तो यहाँ पे इसलिए बताया गया ना. He's saying it is not possible for me to see as equal at all the times the happiness and the distress of existent Duryodhana. Even if by intelligence I try, what will happen? It will only be for 2 3 days. Why? Because the mind is very stronger. The fickle mind is stronger than the discriminating intellect. Right? जो intellect है उससे strong है mind. One sees that the mind attached to the material enjoyment overcomes the intellect. राइट, तो ऑफन होता है, राइट, हमारा मन क्या है, ओवर पावर कर लेता है, राइट। तो इसलिए श्लोक आया, देखिए क्या श्लोक है, अर्जुन पूछ रहे हैं। आई थिंक इसको हम लोग बोल के जो सेंड करते हैं ना, कितना टाइम हो गया। हाँ। अर्जुन उवाच यो अयम योगस्त्वया प्रोक्ता साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चंचलत्वत् स्थितं स्थरम्। यो अयम योगस त्वया प्रोक्ता, राइट, आपने जो ये अष्टांग योग बताया, आपने जो ये योगा बताया जिसमें कि व्यक्ति को इक्वल विजन लाना है, साम्येन मधुसूदन, राइट, साम्येन, राइट, सामान्य रूप से, है ना, जनरली क्या है मधुसूदन, है ना, एतस एतस्य अहम न पश्यामि, ना, चंचलत्वत स्थितम स्थिरम, राइट, मैं इसको देख नहीं पा रहा हूँ, न पश्यामि, आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी इट, हाउ, व्हाट आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी, स्थिरम, स्टेबल, ना, I'm not able to see this as a stable system. Now, you have told about having a equal vision, but I'm not able to see this as a stable system. Why? Because chanchalatvat, because the mind is very chanchalatvat, very, very flickering, very, 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 very unsteady. Right? Arjun said, "Oh Madhusudana, the system of the yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me." Right? Unendurable means not stable. तो बोल रहे हैं कि देखिए, ये जो आपने योगा बताया ये इम्प्रैक्टिकल लग रहा है मेरे को, ये इम्प्रैक्टिकल है, अनएंड्योरेबल है ना, मतलब अनएंड्योरेबल मतलब कि स्टेबल नहीं है, लाइक लंबे समय के लिए आप इसको फॉलो नहीं कर सकते हो ना। क्यों? फॉर द माइंड इज रेस्टलेस एंड अनस्टडी, बिकॉज चंचल तो बहुत है, मन क्या बहुत चंचल है ना, ऐसा इक्वल विजन रख पाना बड़ा मुश्किल है, ऐसा वो बोल रहे हैं ना। पोपत का जो पर्पट है वो भी इसी के अराउंड सेंटर्ड है। पढ़िए, आई थिंक वी विल एंड विद दिस, है ना, प्लीज रीड 6.3।
The system of mysticism.
Prabhupada is taking this point as to emphasize that how the system of Ashtanga Yoga is not meant for this age. It is not practical in this particular age. Please read.
The system of mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the word Suchodeshe and ending with Yogi Parama, is here being rejected by Arjuna out of feeling of inability. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains or jungles to practice yoga in the age of Kali. The present age is characterized by a bitter struggle for a life of short duration. People are not serious about self-realization even by simple practical means, and what to speak of this difficult yoga system, which regulates the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of place, and detachment of the mind from material engagements. As a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow this system of yoga, even though he was favorably endowed in many ways. He belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of numerous qualities. He was a great warrior. He had uh, great longevity, and above all, he was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had much better facilities than do now. Yet, he refused to accept this system of yoga. In fact, we do not find any record in the history of his practicing it any time. Therefore, this system must be considered generally impossible in the age of Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but for the people in general, it is an impossible proposal. If this were 5,000 years ago, then what of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called schools and societies, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They are completely in ignorance of the desired goal.
So very clearly it is being stated at how no, no, it is not practical, right? Because there are so many things in regulation of the mode of living, the manner of sitting, selection of the place, the detachment of the mind from the material engagement state. Very difficult, not possible, right? In our bhakti yoga, we don't have so much restrictions. We can chant anytime, and in the morning, evening, afternoon, and there's no so much restrictions about so many things. So that's why so it is not practical. Na? This is what Arjuna told. And next look also Arjuna is further going to tell about it, that why it is still more difficult. So I think this we will discuss tomorrow. I think we will need two more classes tomorrow, and I think one more class we'll need to finish this chapter. So let us open up for the question answers. One request, please kindly try to be थोड़ा अगर हम लोग 7 बजे शार्प आ जाएंगे तो हम लोग शार्प टाइम पे स्टार्ट कर पाएंगे. स्पेशली शुरू में थोड़ा एक बैकग्राउंड भी देना जरूरी पड़ता है व्हेन वी मीट द न्यू वीक. तो आज भी मैंने शुरू में कुछ बैकग्राउंड दिया. आप में से जो लोग थोड़ा लेट आए होंगे आपका वो मिस हो गया होगा. Maybe if you can hear the recording, that will be good. Okay. So please try to be there at 7 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions?
कृष्णा गुरुजी.
हाँ, just a minute. Just let us just show. Let me just show you what we saw today. Just a minute. So see. So you see, this is what we have seen today. So 27th shloka was about how a yogi can get realization of the Atma. 20th shloka was about Brahma Samsparsha, that one comes to the platform of realization of the Paramatma. And then 29 and 30 talked about what will be the vision of such kind of a perfect yogi. He will be able to see Paramatma everywhere, and he will he will be never lost. He will never lose his vision from the Paramatma. He will be able to see Paramatma everywhere. And what will be his actions? He will be able to worship. He will be able to see he will be see that how there is the same Paramatma who is pervaded everywhere, and he will be always be fixed in his devotional service of meditation upon that Paramatma, even while doing different types of activities. And he will be also able to see uh, he will be also able to see everyone equally in terms of he will be able to feel for their happiness and distress. And 33rd shloka we discussed that how Arjuna is raising the concern that how this is impractical. Why? Because of the fickleness of the mind. Okay. Yeah. Now we can open up. Mohit Prabhu boliye.
हरे कृष्णा गुरुजी.
Yes.
Prabhuji, this Arjuna's doubt, like in this Prabhupada explained that there are so many rules and regulation in the mystic yoga. And as you said that as we know that नाम नामकारी बहुधा, there is no rules and regulation in our bhakti yoga, मतलब उतने ज्यादा नहीं है. So ये सुन के प्रभु जी,
एक मिनट, नाम akari bhoda doesn't mean that. Nam akari bhoda means that Lord has many names, many holy names in which he has invested his energies. Okay, that is the
हाँ प्रभु जी
meaning.
इसमें ही आता है, मतलब उसमें रूल्स नहीं है नीचे वाले लास्ट
हाँ,
लास्ट.
दूसरे में आता है. करेक्ट. हाँ, करेक्ट.
तो
Yes.
प्रभु जी ये सुन के ऐसा लगता है कि भक्ति योगा इज फॉर वीक पीपल, जो वो नहीं कर सकते उनके लिए एक तरीके से, मतलब although the result is
Yes, we are weak
highest.
people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our deliverer. We are weak people. Patit pavan hai to tava avtar, right? Is there any problem about it?
No problem प्रभु जी, बट
हाँ.
इट्स लाइक ऐसे बोला जाता है ना कि भक्ति कमजोर लोगों के लिए है, आप योगा नहीं कर सकते इसलिए भक्ति करिए, इस तरीके
देखिए,
से.
भक्ति में ना सबसे पहला जो चीज क्यों, देखिए भक्ति का पद क्यों इतना सरल बनाया गया है? बिकॉज क्या है, सबसे पहला चीज जो भक्ति में व्यक्ति को समझाने को मिलता है कि उसका फॉल्स, देखिए अल्टीमेट गोल ऑफ लाइफ क्या है कि अपने फॉल्स ईगो को छोड़ना. अपने फॉल्स ईगो जो हमने दैट आई एम द एंजॉयर, आई एम द डूअर, आई एम द कंट्रोलर, इसको छोड़ना है. और हमारी जो असली स्थिति है ना, मुक्तिर हितवा अन्यथा रूपम स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थित ही, अपने सही स्वरूप में वापस स्थित होना, ये अल्टीमेट गोल ऑफ लाइफ है, राइट। हमारा असली स्वरूप क्या है कि हम कृष्ण के नित्य दास हैं, and we are fully dependent, na, we are fully under the control of Krishna. This is the ultimate goal of the path of the self realization, right ना। तो भक्ति योगा में शुरू से ही व्यक्ति का क्या है, शुरू से ही इस गोल के, शुरू से ही हम इस गोल इसी कॉन्शियसनेस से एक्ट करते हैं, that I am a servant of Krishna, and Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the controller, and I am dependent upon Krishna, I am being controlled by Krishna। तो शुरू से ही क्या है, भक्ति में क्या है, आपका फॉल्स ईगो साइड में रखना पड़ता है आपको, राइट। ऑफ कोर्स इट टेक्स टाइम, बट बट बाकी सारे पाथ में क्या है, वन मेंटेन्स वन फॉल्स ईगो। आई so like for Ashtanga yogi, he has false ego that I can do tapasyas, I can control my mind, and that's why it's such a tough path. So there's a difference in the bhakti yoga. We are not trying to control minds. We know that, oh Krishna, we can never control our minds. Only we can just make an attempt to please Krishna, serve Krishna with this mind. And Krishna will, if Krishna's desire, then Krishna will fix our mind upon him. We have no false ego. This is what the path of the bhakti yoga is there. But in Ashtanga yoga, he is making his, he's making his good efforts to, to concentrate the mind, focus the mind, doing different ways. So the thing is that how the false ego is maintained, Prabhu. In the path of Gyan yoga also, person is trying to, person has a lot of faith upon his own understandings, the conclusions of his own mind, the interpretations of his own intelligence. He's trying to study the scriptures and trying to speculate upon the absolute in different ways. So the false ego is maintained. Ashtanga yoga also, the false ego is maintained. Of course, when one comes to the very high platform of Paramatma realization, then he becomes like a pure devotee. Prabhupada wrote, na, like that. But before that, he is like, on his own, and it's a very difficult path for them. So yes, bhakti is a, so why Krishna has made this path very easy? Why? Because that's what Krishna desires. That we surrender to him. We become freed from our false ego. That's the point. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ, अरे भाई देखो, इतना आसान चीज मिला है, बट फिर भी कितना मुश्किल हो रहा है, बताओ। चैंटिंग हो नहीं रहा है, नींद आ जाता है, हियरिंग करते हैं, कुछ याद नहीं रहता है। पूछ लो आपसे, कोई पूछ ले कल आपने क्या सुना था, आज पूछ ले, पॉइंट तो याद नहीं रहते हैं, बताओ क्यों। तो आप क्यों और डिफिकल्टी पाना चाहते हो भाई? डोंट प्रे फॉर मच डिफिकल्टीज, ओके। ठीक है, और कुछ?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है?
यस
आ,
प्रभु जी।
हाँ, बोलो बोलो, जो भी बोल रहा है बोलो। पुष्पेंद्र तो ओके।
प्रभु जी, one who sees Lord everywhere, for him Lord is not lost, and uh, he is not lost for the Lord. So how to understand this statement that Lord sees him every time, everywhere, means always?
हम्म, बिकॉज लॉर्ड हैज दैट पोटेंसी ना। Lord can see, right? Lord is seeing, no? Lord is watching us always as a Paramatma, that way. So we is
Yes,
also,
प्रभु जी।
one is able to see Paramatma, and Paramatma is also watching. In any ways, Paramatma is watching everyone. The Lord is seeing everyone. Paramatma, in the form of the Paramatma, the Lord is always, Updrashta, Anumanta cha. In the Bhagavad Gita it comes, no? He's a Updrashta. है ना, ही इज अ उपदेष्टा अनुमंताचार, राइट, अनुमति देने वाले हैं। ही इज अ परमिटर एंड इज अ ओवरसियर। तो वो तो हमें परमात्मा तो हमेशा देख ही रहे हैं इन जनरल, राइट ना। लेकिन हम नहीं देख पाते हैं परमात्मा को। बट ये जो एडवांस योगी है वो परमात्मा को खुद भी देख पा रहा है, और परमात्मा भी उसको कॉन्स्टेंटली देख ही रहे हैं। दैट इज द मीनिंग। लॉर्ड
प्रभु
इज
जी,
ऑलवेज सीइंग ना। हाँ।
प्रभु जी, Paramatma sees everywhere, either he is devotee or not. But here, what does it mean if it is mentioned?
हाँ, ये मतलब जस्ट 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 उसको समराइज किया गया इसी बात को, कि वन इज एबल टू सी परमात्मा एवरीवेयर, एंड परमात्मा इज आल्सो सीइंग। परमात्मा इज ऑल्सो नॉट पर, मतलब देखिए, इससे ज्यादा तो और कुछ नहीं बताया गया है। आप बोले तो मैं एक बार फिर से कमेंट्री देख लेता हूँ। हाँ। हाँ, तो जितना हमारे आचार्य ने एक्सप्लेन किया उतना ही हम समझ, उतना ही हम उसको एक्सपेक्ट, उतना ही हम लोग उसमें दिमाग लगा सकते हैं। देखिए, जैसे यहाँ पे बताया। हाँ, कौन कौन सा श्लोक था अपना? 30th ना? 30th श्लोक, राइट। देखिए 30th में क्या बताया गया है?
32, I think, Prabhuji.
नहीं नहीं, 30th ना, युमाम पश्यति, यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट ना? आ गए भाई, हरि बोल, यू आर देयर?
Yes, प्रभु जी। Yes, प्रभु जी।
हाँ, यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 30th श्लोका, राइट? युमाम पश्यति सर्वत्र, राइट?
Yes, प्रभु जी।
This one, right? No? So see
Yes, प्रभु जी।
what is being told. See here. है ना? I, see, Baldev Vidyabhushan is telling, I, the Paramatma, do not become invisible to that yogi, na pranashyami, right? This is the meaning, right? So I don't become invisible. Means a yogi is able to always see me. And that yogi also does not become invisible to me. No, we both see each other at all the times. This is the thing, that the Lord is, see, one is also able to see the Paramatma, and and the Paramatma is also watching, and both of them are able to see all the times, right? Now, like in our case, you'll find Paramatma is watching us, but we are not able to watch Paramatma, and but in the case of this kind of realized yogi, he's able to have always darshan of the Paramatma, right? This much is only been explained, I think. और तो कुछ ज्यादा इसमें एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया गया है ना? एक और इसका जो एक और
Yes,
विष्णु
Prabhuji.
चक्र बता रहे हैं, द रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस आई द ब्रह्मन नेवर बिकम्स इनविजिबल टू दैट पर्सन। देखिए दोनों चीजें ना, कि विष्णु चक्र ठाकुर ने इसको एक्सप्लेन किया था ब्रह्मन के रूप में, हाउ ना आई द ब्रह्मन नेवर बिकम्स इनविजिबल टू दैट पर्सन, है ना? तो है ना, वो बता रहे हैं कि see, विष्णु चक्र ठाकुर बता रहे हैं कि उसको ब्रह्मन रियलाइजेशन तक ही होता है। तो वो देखता है कि कैसे, ना, है ना, ब्रह्म ज्योति है, हर जगह पे परवेडेड है ब्रह्म ज्योति, है ना? Since I am continually present before him, the yogi, my worshipper is never lost to me. हाँ, तो खैर विश्वनाथ चक्र ठाकुर बता रहे हैं कि उसका ब्रह्मन रियलाइजेशन तक रहता है, बट बल्लभ विद्याभूषण इसको बताया कि इट्स मोर ऑफ अ परमात्मा रियलाइजेशन, वन इज एबल टू सी दैट वे। तो इतने एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया है, उसके अलावा और तो ज्यादा नहीं समझ सकते, राइट? पर ये समझ सकते हो, वी बोथ सी ईच अदर एट ऑल द टाइम्स, हमेशा वो देख पाते हैं, वो भी अपने भगवान को देख पाता है, परमात्मा को, और परमात्मा भी उसको देखते हैं। ओके, यस,
Okay,
सूर्या
Prabhuji.
प्रभु
Thank
एंड
you,
देन
Prabhuji.
अभिषेक प्रभु, सूर्या प्रभु एंड देन अभिषेक प्रभु।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हम्म
Uh, Prabhuji, my question is like, जैसे we see that here we see that this perfect yogi is one who is seeing everybody equally, and everybody else pains, he seems to be one own self. So
हम्म
जैसे इस हिसाब से तो ये ऑलमोस्ट प्योर डिवोटी के स्टेट पे है, ऐसा जो ऐसा
हम्म
एक्सप्लेनेशन में आता है, जैसे आपने भी बताया।
हम्म
तो जैसे हम डिवोटीज के सर्कल्स में भी हम देखते हैं कि जैसे आप बता रहे थे प्रोजी की फॉल्स ईगो स्टिल रिमेन्स इन दैट योगी आल्सो, इट्स स्टिल देयर। और हम डिवोटी सर्कल में भी देखते हैं प्रोजी की while practicing bhakti yoga we also have some kind of ego in ourselves, like हम कभी कभी उस चक्कर में फंस जाते हैं कि we are more better than these yogis and like ज्ञानीज, और also मतलब उनसे अच्छे भी हैं। और इवन हम डिवोटीज सर्कल में भी आपस में एक दूसरे से कंपेयर करते हैं कि ये डिवोटी मतलब सटल लेवल पे, वो ग्राउंड लेवल पे बहुत सारी एक्सप्लेनेशन दे सकते हैं। तो रोजी ये फॉल्स जो है, ये मतलब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि कैसे हम ये फॉल्स ईगो को क्या कंपेयर कर सकते हैं क्या उसके फॉल्स ईगो से, या फिर अ, मतलब दिस इज लाइक अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग।
देखिए इसमें एक चीज है ना, देखो, जो योगी अभी जो परमात्मा का दर्शन पा चुका है ना प्रभु, अभी वो बहुत प्योरीफाइड हो गया है, वो हाई स्टेज है, ही इज प्योरीफाइड ऑफ द फॉल्स ईगो, राइट? तो उस स्टेज पर फॉल्स ईगो नहीं है श्योरली, बट बिगिनिंग स्टेज में जब उसने स्टार्ट किया था, प्रैक्टिस करने का प्रयास कर रहा था, तो ठीक है, उसके अंदर में एक फॉल्स ईगो है, फॉल्स ईगो का एक फॉर्म है उसमें कि ना, आई विल ट्राई टू कंट्रोल माई सेंसेस, आई विल ट्राई टू कंट्रोल माई माइंड, नो, दैट इज देयर, राइट? बट वंस वन हैज कम टू द दर्शन ऑफ द परमात्मा, ही बिकम्स कंप्लीटली प्योरीफाइड। जो साधना होती है उसको प्योरीफाइड कर देती है ना, परमात्मा का दर्शन हो गया मतलब वो तो हो गया, पहली बात। तो ये तो होगा योगी के लिए, राइट? और अभी हमारे केस में कि हम लोग के लिए वो पॉलिसी को कैसे मैनिफेस्ट कर सकता है, देखिए, सी, इन जैसा हमारा जो डिस्कशन के कंटेक्स्ट में, पॉलिसी को कैन बी इन अवर टर्म्स, इट कैन बी लाइक द डूअरशिप मेंटेलिटी, द एंजॉयशिप मेंटेलिटी, द फुटिव मेंटेलिटी, कि हम कुछ इवन डिवोशनल एक्टिविटीज भी हम करते हैं, एंड उसमें हम कुछ रिजल्ट्स एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, या फिर उससे अटैच्ड हैं। एक्सपेक्ट करना बुरा नहीं है, लेट अस से अगर हम लोग फॉर एग्जांपल किताबें डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चाहते हैं, राइट? ठीक है, किताबें डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चाहते हैं, ज्यादा किताबें बांटना चाहते हैं, उसमें कोई बुरा नहीं है, डिजायर रखने में कोई बुरा नहीं है, इट्स अ डिवोशनल डिजायर, राइट ना? है ना? लेकिन अगर हम उससे अटैच्ड हैं, अटैच मतलब क्या, कि अगर नहीं हो रही हैं, किताबें ज्यादा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हम नहीं कर पाए, then we blame Krishna, or we blame ourselves, then means we are becoming attached, no, we are doing it with a footy mentality, right? That is being contempt, right? No, तो पहले चीज समझने वाली बात है कि हमारे कंटेस्ट में मोर फॉसी को कैसे होता है कि ना, टू मच एक्सेसिव, ओवर, टू मच एक्सेसिव डूअरशिप मेंटेलिटी, है ना, या फिर फ्रूटिव मेंटेलिटी, ये सब चीजों में वो हमारा हमारा जो फॉसी को मैनिफेस्ट हो सकता है, right? हम लोग किसी चीज को करने के लिए बहुत हो सकता है कि स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटी क्यों ना हो, लेकिन उसके लिए हम टू मच, हम लोग उसमें ओवर अटैच्ड हैं, हमारे सुपीरियर्स हमको मना कर रहे हैं बट फिर भी हम वो करना चाहते हैं, या फिर डूअरशिप, राइट, स्ट्रॉन्ग डूअरशिप मेंटेलिटी की ना, मुझे ये करना है, वो करना है ना, मुझे ये व्रत रखना है, मुझे वो व्रत रखना है ना, मैं बिल्कुल निश्चित कर लूंगा, राइट। आपका हेल्थ खराब हो रहा है, स्पिरिट्स बोल रहे कि मत करो, फिर भी आप करना चाहते हो, राइट। तो देखिए, डिटर्मिनेशन भी एक एस्पेक्ट है स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ का, लेकिन एक फॉल्स ईगो भी एक अलग एस्पेक्ट है। फॉल्स ईगो कब है? जब ब्लेसिंग से हम नहीं करते तो, है ना। ब्लेसिंग से हम नहीं करते, स्पेकुलेशन से अगर हम लोग कुछ चीजें करते हैं जो हमारे भक्ति के लिए इतना फेवरेबल ना भी हो, हम उसको देख पा रहे हैं बट कोई दूसरा समझ पा रहा है, जो सुपीरियर वो देख रहा है कि नहीं है, तो वो वैसे मैनिफेस्ट कर सकता है हमारा फॉल्स ईगो, राइट। एक्सेसिव डूअरशिप मेंटेलिटी के टर्म्स में ना, मुझे ये करना है, वो करना है, ये पाना है, वो पाना है, राइट, है ना। स्पिरिचुअल स्पिरिचुअल चीजों के लिए भी उस वे में हमारा फॉल्स ईगो आ सकता है, राइट ना। लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक चैंटिंग, आप ट्राई करो अच्छे से चैंट करने का, कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके कर ले, आप नहीं कर पा रहे हो, बट आप उसको लेके बहुत टू मच, आप उसको लेके बहुत वो हो गए हो, करना ही है मेरे को, है ना। क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, कैसे नहीं हो रहा है ना, करके रहूंगा, है ना, क्यों। You have to depend on Krishna. The prayerfulness is to be, Krishna, by your mercy, I can do it. Please kindly help me. I will try my best part, but I know only by your mercy it will happen. Same हम preaching करते हैं. Okay, I will do my best part, Krishna, and whatever is your wish, let it manifest. Let me not become an obstacle, है ना, in your wish, है ना, in your will. इस भाव से फॉल्स ईगो को हम अवॉइड कर सकते हैं भक्ति में ना। बाकी रही बात फॉल्स ईगो और हटाने के लिए, बताया गया भागवत में, महत सेवाम द्वारा महोर विमुक्ते, है ना। सबसे बड़ा जो बताया गया वेपन बताया गया फॉल्स ईगो से निकलने का, कि वो किसी महान भक्त की सेवा करना चाहिए। वही हम लोग कोशिश भी करते हैं, उससे क्या होगा, हमारा धीरे धीरे फॉल्स ईगो खत्म होता है। जब हम किसी महान भक्त की सेवा करते हैं तो जब सेवा करते हैं, सेवा में गलतियां भी होती हैं, है ना, परफेक्शन में नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो उससे फिर थोड़ा अगर हम लोग सिंसियर हो तो हमें फिर ह्यूमिलिटी अपने आप आएगी। समझेंगे कि हमारा सिचुएशन कैसे ऊपर है, नीचे है ना, ये बात है, ठीक है ना। बट हमारे टर्म्स में फॉल्स ईगो कैसे हो सकता है कि हम लोग ओवरली एग्जर्ट कर रहे हैं हमारे आप को, कुछ इवन स्पेशल प्रैक्टिस के लिए अगर हम लोग ओवरली एग्जिस्ट कर रहे हैं। देखिए, फंडा क्या होना चाहिए, वॉट एवर इज फेवरेबल फॉर डिवोशनल सर्विस दैट शुड बी एक्सेप्टेड, जो आपके डिवोशनल सर्विस को बढ़ाने में हेल्प करती है। और वो भी क्या है, हम कई बार जज नहीं कर पाते, उसके लिए हमें सुपीरियर्स पे डिपेंड होना जरूरी है। तो अगर सुपीरियर्स हमें किसी के लिए ब्लेसिंग्स दे रहे हैं, किसी को करने के लिए, और उसको हम लोग कर रहे हैं, तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। बट अदरवाइज हम किसी चीज के लिए ओवर एक्सर्ट कर रहे हैं अपने आप को, जो ब्लेस्ड नहीं है सुपीरियर्स के द्वारा, ये हमारे केस में फॉल्स ईगो का मेंटेनेंस हो सकता है। जैसे मान लीजिए आप टीचिंग, किसी कॉलेज में आपको टीचिंग हो नहीं रहा है, सुपीरियर्स ने बोला मत करो यहाँ पे, दूसरी जगह पे करो, बट आप अटैच हो करने के लिए, करूंगा ही करूंगा, ये पे करूंगा, राइट। मर जाऊंगा, मिट जाऊंगा, बट कृष्ण का नाम यहाँ पे लगा के रहूंगा, राइट। ये आपका ओवर अटैचमेंट है, ये इट इज बॉर्न आउट ऑफ द फॉल्स ईगो, कि आपका है ना कर्ता वाला भाव है, राइट। कर्ता वाला भाव कि मैं करने वाला हूँ। फॉल्स ईगो मीन्स कर्ता का भाव, आई एम द डूअर। बट नहीं, असली क्या है, आई एम नॉट द डूअर, कृष्णा इज द डूअर, दैट्स द पॉइंट, है ना। फाइन। यस, कौन था इसके बाद में भाई? हाँ, अभिषेक प्रभु, देन प्रतीक प्रभु।
Yes, Prabhuji, first of all, I want clarification that this realization of soul means Paramatma realization.
नो, बोथ आर डिफरेंट। आत्मा, आत्मा मीन्स तो योगी को पहले आत्मा का रियलाइजेशन होगा कि आई एम द सोल, आई एम नॉट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द बॉडी, आई एम नॉट डिफरेंट, आई एम डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दिस मटेरियल बॉडी। दैट्स अ रियलाइजेशन दैट आई एम द आत्मा, आई एम द पार्ट ऑफ द ब्रह्म ज्योति, आई एम द ब्रह्मन, है ना। ये सब चीजें जड़ पदार्थ है, बट आई एम द ब्रह्मन, राइट। ये एक लेवल ऑफ रियलाइजेशन है, दैट इज डिफरेंट। एंड देन फर्दर अगर वो एडवांस करता है, उसके पास अगर सही योगी गुरु है जिसके पास हाई रियलाइजेशन है, तो फिर वो परमात्मा का भी रियलाइजेशन आ सकता है, कि उस देखो परमात्मा का जब आएगा तो उसको ये भी होगा कि भाई मैं सोल हूँ, और साथ में सिर्फ मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ सोल, साथ में मेरे पास में परमात्मा भी है, देयर इज अ सुप्रीम लॉर्ड ना, हु इज देयर एज अ परमात्मा इन माय हार्ट। दोनों अलग अलग चीजें हैं, दोनों अलग चीजें हैं।
तो प्रभुजी ये परमात्मा रियलाइजेशन, जैसे जैसे कि अब हमने वर्सेस पढ़े, तो
हाँ
उससे जैसे कि कृष्णा बता रहे हैं कि जिसको परमात्मा रियलाइजेशन है वो भी सुप्रीम ब्लिस में होगा। तो
हाँ, होगा होगा।
और जिसको मतलब कि हम लोग देखते हैं डिवोटीज जो भक्ति कर रहे हैं उनको भगवान रियलाइजेशन होता है, तो वो भी सुप्रीम ब्लिस में होते हैं। तो
यस।
फिर दोनों में
हाँ
डिफरेंस क्या है, दोनों के ब्लिसेस में डिफरेंस क्या है?
हाँ, लेवल्स का डिफरेंस है ब्रो। इवन ब्राह्मण ब्राह्मण देखो, ब्राह्मण रियलाइजेशन जब होता है, ब्राह्मण रियलाइजेशन की इवन ये रियलाइजेशन भी पूरा बैठ गया कि भाई मैं मैटर नहीं हूँ, मैं स्पिरिट सोल हूँ, है ना, आई एम नथिंग टू डू विद दिस मैटर। तो क्या होगा ना, देयर आर नो मोर मटेरियल डिजायर्स, देयर इज नो मोर एंडेवर फॉर मटेरियल गेन, राइट ना। तो ये भी क्या है, देयर इज अ फ्रीडम फ्रॉम द मटेरियल एंजाइटी व्हिच कम्स when one becomes very much solidified in one's realization that I am the atma, I am the soul. Then what happens is, अगर उसको ये रियलाइजेशन बड़ा स्ट्रांगली बैठ गया, तो क्या होगा, नेचुरली देयर विल बी डिटैचमेंट फ्रॉम द मटेरियल एक्टिविटीज। सो सो है ना, ही विल हैव नो मोर एंजाइटी फॉर मटेरियल गेन इन दिस वर्ल्ड। दैट एंजाइटी इज आल्सो अ फॉर्म ऑफ द ब्लिस, समझना आपको वाला बात। तो इसलिए इवन किसको अगर ब्रह्मन रियलाइजेशन हो रहा है, वो भी, उसको भी ब्लिस मिलेगा। वो लेकिन वो ब्लिस क्या है, मोर ऑफ अ, इट्स मोर ऑफ अ रिमूवल ऑफ द एंजाइटी material anxiety which was there. It's a relief from the material anxiety which is there. And he may go to the Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti also there are no material activities, no more material mazes. There's a great pleasure. There's ब्रह्मानंद, ये भी एक ब्रह्मानंद है. ब्रह्म ज्योति में जाने में भी एक आनंद है. क्या आनंद है? वहाँ पे मटेरियल डिस्ट्रेस नहीं है, बर्थ ओल्ड एज डिजीज डेथ नहीं है, वहाँ पे आपके पास वो नहीं है, मटेरियल एक्टिविटीज नहीं है. तो वो भी एक लेवल का आनंद है, राइट, जो लोग ब्रह्मन के लिए एस्पायर करते हैं, राइट. जो परमात्मा का दर्शन ले पा रहे हैं या जो भगवान का दर्शन ले पा रहे हैं, लीलाओं में पार्टिसिपेट कर पा रहे हैं, वो एक अलग लेवल ऑफ आनंद ले पाते हैं. तो डिफरेंस है, लेवल ऑफ आनंद के बारे में डिफरेंस, राइट. बट द हाईएस्ट क्या है? हाईएस्ट वी कैन डिराइव इज हाईएस्ट सेटिस्फैक्शन सबे पुंसाम परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिर अधोक्षजे अहेतु की अप्रतिहता यह आत्मा सुप्रसिद्धति. कौन से हैप्पीनेस से आप डीपली सेटिस्फाइड हो जाओगे? वो होगा जब भक्ति जब होगा, तो उसमें आपको जो जो सेटिस्फेक्शन मिलेगा वो एकदम अनपैरेलल्ड रहेगा. भक्ति मीन्स व्हाट? नविदा भक्ति, श्रवणम कीर्तनम स्मरणम, राइट. तो अष्टांग योगी भी परमात्मा का दर्शन ले रहा है ना, उसमें भी उसको ब्लिस, परमात्मा का दर्शन ले रहा है, मेडिटेशन कर रहा है, उसको उसमें ब्लिस मिल जाता है, राइट. तो लेवल अलग होता है. मोर एट अ ज्ञानी लेवल, है ना, और ब्रह्मवादी लेवल, इट्स मोर अबाउट that happiness is more of because of giving up the materialistic thoughts and desires and activities. And at a higher level, for the Paramatma Vadi and for the Bhagwan, it's more because of the active participation in the leelas of the Lord. भगवान के साथ में जो active reciprocation होता है, उसके कारण उसको pleasure derive होता है. That's of the highest nature. ठीक है ना?
एंड
Okay.
गुरुजी, जैसे कि हमने एक पॉइंट और देखा था कि जैसे परमात्मा जो है इंडिविजुअल, सबके हार्ट में इंडिविजुअल है, लेकिन सभी परमात्मा एक ही है.
हम्म.
ही इज वन एंड ऑल. तो
हम्म.
डेथ के टाइम पे प्रभु जी, जैसे जब एक सोल जो है दूसरी बॉडी में ट्रांसफर होती है, तो एक हार्ट में मतलब कि एक सोल भी रहती है और परमात्मा भी रहते हैं. तो
हम्म.
सेम परमात्मा वो उस दूसरी बॉडी में भी ट्रांसफर होते हैं, या फिर परमात्मा का मतलब कि जैसे वन है तो फिर मतलब परमात्मा, हम लोग जैसे वो एनालॉजी पढ़ते हैं ना कि एक ब्रांच पे दो बर्ड्स बैठी हैं, एक जो है उसको विटनेस कर रही है.
इसके बारे में आपको कल बता पाऊंगा. आई हैव टू सी इट.
ओके.
ओके, फाइन. प्रतीक प्रभु.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हम्म.
प्रभु जी, एक तो ये था मतलब वो 30th के शायद वो किसी पर्पट या ट्रांसलेशन में आता है, मतलब शायद
हम्म.
वो बलदेव विद्याभूषण का था,
हम्म.
उनका था. तो
हम्म.
उसमें आता है कि मतलब योगी मतलब प्योर डिवोटी हो जाता है, तो मतलब प्रभु जी परमात्मा रियलाइजेशन में भी प्योर डिवोटी ऐसा?
यस, प्योर ड्यूटी मतलब कि जो पूरी तरीके से सिर्फ जिसका इच्छा रह गया है कृष्ण कृष्ण को के बारे में सोचने का. यस, प्रभुपाद ने लिखा था पर्पट में कि बिकॉज ही इज कॉन्स्टेंटली जस्ट थिंक ही इज एबल टू सी ओनली परमात्मा नाउ ना. ही हैज नो मोर मटेरियल डिजायर्स, नो मोर मटेरियल एक्टिविटीज. यस, ही इज एज गुड एज ही इज आल्सो प्योर डिवोटी. यस. या पर्पट में आया था, प्रभुपाद के पर्पट में आया था, प्रभुपाद ने बताया था.
हाँ, यस प्रभु जी,
यस.
sure.
तो ये आई थिंक यहाँ पे था पर ना. या तो मतलब सी, क्योंकि ही इज हैविंग फुल एब्जॉर्प्शन इनटू कृष्णा ना.
30th में प्रभु जी, 30 में
30
था.
था.
हाँ,
हाँ,
यस.
तो या तो वो सिर्फ प्योर ड्यूटी बनेगी ना. प्योर ड्यूटी मतलब कि जिस ही हैज नो मटेरियल डिजायर्स, ही इज ओनली सेटिस्फाइड टू सर्व कृष्णा, लव कृष्णा. या सी,
ये लिखा है, सच ए योगी
such a
टर्न्स
yogi
इनटू.
turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within him. Yes. तो वो भी प्योर माना जाएगा. Yes.
और प्रभु जी मतलब ये 31st में आ रहा था कि मतलब ऐसे,
हम्म.
मतलब प्योर डिवोटी मतलब प्रभु जी अभी आपने जैसे ही बताया, तो मतलब जैसे ये तो परमात्मा रियलाइजेशन की वजह से है, तो मतलब प्रभु जी वो उसके बाद
हम्म.
अगले वर्ष में ये भी आता है शायद,
हम्म.
परपट वगैरह में आता है कहीं कि देयर इज
हम्म.
नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन कृष्णा कॉन्शियस पर्सन एंड परफेक्ट डिवोटी, ऐसा करके.
हाँ, ये 31 वाला आप जो बता रहे हैं.
हाँ, इस पर.
देयर इज नो डिफरेंस बिटवीन द कृष्णा कॉन्शियस एंड.
एंड ये परफेक्ट योगी ऐसा करके था वो. तो
ओके.
मतलब ये पुराने वाले से लिंक होके थोड़ा सा वो क्लैरिफिकेशन चाहिए था.
हाँ, बेसिकली सी नहीं, आई थिंक इसी में था आप जो बताया था ना. देखो, इसी में बता रहा, इसमें शायद आया हुआ 30 वाले में. कहाँ गया ये रहा. See, at this says Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. No. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as a Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear. I think. आप